presence of the Lord is in this place. So my grandson's sitting across from me the other day, and he says, "Grandma, what is this thing about Lord? I just don't like it. It just doesn't work for me." So I'm trying to explain Lord. I thought, what is Lord? Sometimes we call it law, sometimes it's love, sometimes it just is that power, the power that we have in this world. The Lord is here in this place. All the love, all the law, all the love, everything, the power. So it isn't the easiest thing to explain, and maybe I need to go home and do a little investigating about that. But you know, when you give me a question, I draw from many, many sources. And so one person that has stood out in my mind from last week, he's still in my mind this week, Jim Henson, the creator of the Muppets. And you know how he said, love and forgive everybody and watch out for each other. It's a good life, enjoy it. But he also said this, I guess I was wrong when I said that I had promised, no, that's not what he said. Oh, come on. We can do better than this. Let me see. I'm going to get it right. I guess I was wrong when I said I never promised anyone. I promised me. And I got to thinking, what promises have I made to me? What promises have you made to you? Have we kept those promises? It was 37 years ago. You can do your arithmetic now. Okay, so 37 years ago, and I made a promise to myself that I would never worry again. Well, I can say I've done quite well with that, but I can't say I've never been tempted, because I have been tempted to worry. But it was something that just woke me up on a particular night. And I suddenly said to myself, why am I doing this? Why am I laying here worrying and sending this person all those bad worry thoughts? Why would I want to do that? And then I began to think what worry really was. It's faith upside down. It's having faith in the potential problem instead of the solution. I didn't have faith in that person that I was worrying about. I didn't have faith in me. So I have really kept that promise quite nicely. But as I say, I'm tempted. So when I am tempted, I catch myself and I say, okay, if I'm worrying about someone, dear one, I put you in the light. And I send you the very best because I have faith in you. Now, someone said, well, isn't it natural to worry? Well, I suppose as a human being, it might be natural to worry some, but it's not necessary. Is it? Why do we worry? Well, we think because we care about somebody. We love somebody so much, and we're just going to worry about that. Well, now, when you think about it, that's really downright silly. Because when you worry, you are sending those kinds of thoughts out to them, and you are actually wishing them harm. You are sending them harm by all those destructive thoughts. So stop it. You don't have to worry. No. You're saying yes. Okay. All right. Well, you know, the world gives us plenty of things to worry about. And one of the things, I think I mentioned it last week, was the end of the world. It's supposed to happen on December 21st of this year. So someone has said, you don't have to worry about the end of the world. It's not going to end today because it's already tomorrow in Australia. You know, the person who said that was Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts. Such good advice in Peanuts. It tells me that we need to have humor in this life. It was Marcus Bach. He is the uncle, or was the uncle, of Richard Bach, who wrote those wonderful books. One of them was Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Maybe we've all read that book. And he said, the only winning way to live life is to give it light. Give it a touch of your light that comes from within you. Give it a touch of lightness, of lightheartedness. It really is the only way to live life. I think this requires discipline, though. Discipline on our part, to discipline our thinking. And we are capable of doing that. I think this must be a morning of quotes, because I think of James Allen, the man who wrote As a Man Thinketh. And he says, we are beings of power, of intelligence and love. And we are the Lord of our own thoughts. So we hold the key to all situations. We are the Lord, the power over our own thoughts. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So, I have a question for you. There's been several questions in all of that. But somebody asked me this question. And this was given to me several weeks ago. And I haven't answered it because it seems like there's a time, a right time to answer questions. And this one is this. What is Unity's understanding of the Holy Spirit? Take a deep breath. This is deep. Well, maybe not too. We're going to make this simple as we possibly can. I think before we go to Unity's understanding, we have to know that in the traditional sense, Christianity has given us this Trinity. And the Holy Spirit is the last part of that Trinity. And so traditionally, we have said Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Now, this came about from a belief in the three-tiered universe that doesn't exist, into which Jesus was said to have ascended. So it's obvious that we have to look at all this differently, because the Trinity is not in the Bible. It's a product of the church. It's church doctrine. And it's fine, except that it is outside ourselves. That was the belief. That's what we grew up with. Well, when I think of things outside of myself, I say, but what's the point? It's always that I am on the outside looking in. That's how I was raised. My nose pressed against the glass, hoping, wishing, praying that someday I'd be able to get inside. And then Unity came along and tells me, you are inside. You've always been inside. So we can look at Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in a metaphysical way. And we look beyond the words, and we see that there's something else there. So we metaphysically can call this mind, idea, and expression. So we know that there is one. That's God mind. And this is an all-encompassing mind that includes everything. And I mean everything. There is nothing outside of this all-encompassing God mind. Nothing. But it seems a little impersonal, doesn't it? And so we have within it, we have the Son, which is a perfect idea. The love idea out of which you and I were created. You see, when people at a ball game hold up that sign, John 3:16, do they still do that? I'll bet they do. That says to everyone around them, for God so loved the world that he sent Jesus, his only begotten Son. For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, which is not Jesus. It is the Christ Spirit that lives in you and me and in everyone. That's the gift. That's the only begotten. So then we come to the Holy Spirit. which is the expression. It is that pressing out. I love the word expression. The pressing out from within you and me. And it is the working, moving, brooding, breathing Spirit within us. And how does it make itself known to us? This last weekend, Dell and I and our 3 children, I call them children, can you imagine? They've been adults for a long, 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 long time. But they're still my children. And so we're on a little vacation. Now, some people go to China. I just heard of someone going there. And some people go to Spain and these tropical islands. And 2 guys that I talked to just recently just came back from Italy. And they said, it changed our lives. Well, we went to Duluth. And it changed our lives. 5 people together. Oh, yes, we know each other. But now we know each other better. And now there's a bond that is so special. It's always been there, but now it's more special. And each of us in our own unique way had inspiration. You know, when there's no agenda, and it's just like, well, go here, go there, and everywhere we went, there were new ideas. So each of us, it's like we stand at the crossroads and ask, what's next? And it was so good for every single one of us that we were able to take the time to read, to write, to walk, to contemplate, to be with each other in quiet even, and to just sit on the balcony and look at the water. It was the most peaceful, soul-stirring vacation I've ever had. Well, Spirit reveals itself to us through all these things, through the inspiration that we receive. And at every turn, there was more inspiration. Spirit reveals itself to us through guidance. Go here, go there. And everywhere we went, more new ideas. Spirit reveals through revelation. Every once in a while, Spirit breaks through all this stuff going on in our minds, and it's like, aha, I got it, I see it. So Spirit is always working in us. It is that activating, motivating, that energizing force within us that encourages us to keep going, that encourages us to go forward, and then gives us the courage to do so. Spirit is not on the outside of us, it's inside. We carry it with us wherever we go. Why don't we open to it? Why not? It'll give us the guidance that we need in this life, I promise you that. The Holy Spirit. Do we have a different understanding? Did that help? You know, sometimes I think that when I'm all through explaining, did anybody get it, or am I not explaining it right, or there's always that little something. But you know what? The basket is still back there. If you have more questions, or if I didn't explain it well, give me a question. I'll do it again. Well, I have more questions to answer from you. And there was one given to me last Sunday. I'm not going to answer it this Sunday because it doesn't seem to be the right time. This question goes this way. How was it put? Let's see. What is Unity's understanding of free will? Or predestination? That's a good question. Well, you come back in August and it's going to be answered. Because will is the power of the month in August. I can't answer that now, it's still July. And this is the month of understanding. Do we know about these 12 powers? Charles Fillmore put these in categories. He made 12 out of them so that the 12 God-given powers that we have, these are gifts. And they respond to the 12 disciples, to the 12 to colors, to the tones on the musical scale, to the places in our bodies, the energy centers. Wonderful stuff. So what are the 12 God-given gifts that we have? Love, imagination, power, judgment, understanding, zeal, the power of elimination, faith, love, order, will, and strength. You have all these powers to use in your life, and the Christ of you is the head of all those powers. And when you access this Christ power within, it shows you how to use those powers wisely and lovingly. So I am going to answer a question, though. And this one is, what am I supposed to be doing in this life? We get this question every year. I love it. What am I supposed to be doing in this life? So that's all the question, that's all there was to it. So I have no details. So it's as if this person is asking, well, am I supposed to be a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, a florist, a farmer? What am I supposed to be doing? Have you ever asked that question? Yeah, I think we all have. And I say it's not so much what we're doing, but how we're doing it. How much love are we putting into it? It was Martin Luther King who said that it is important what we put into it, much more than what we do. So he said, if you are called to sweep streets, then do it like Beethoven wrote music, and you will never have an unhappy day. How did Beethoven write music? He gave himself totally to the music. He gave himself away. I think this is a morning of quotes for sure, because now I'm thinking of somebody else. Not only Wayne Dyer in his book, but I think of Wayne, another Wayne Muller. And he wrote the book, How Then Shall We Live, Knowing We're Going to Die? Now that's a question of all time. How then shall we live? And he suggests, I paraphrase now, he suggests that we are the gift. We are the gift that we're giving to the world. So maybe what we're doing is not that important. But we are the gift. Ourselves we're giving to the world. But he said, be sure that you clarify who you are and who you believe yourself to be. Because who you believe yourself to be is really the all-important thing. Who you are is the beloved child of God. But who do you believe yourself to be? Do you believe that? So he said, clarify that. So I want to take you back. Back to when you were young. Can you go back? If I can, you can. That's for sure. Okay, let's go back now. Maybe to a time, a birthday party when you had a present. Or maybe Christmas. For me now, it was Christmas. And there was a present under the tree that was wrapped so beautifully and so tightly. My mother wrapped this present with more tape than I have ever seen on a gift, because she knew that if there was one tiny little corner, I was going to peek under and see if I could even see what was written on the box. And then she wrapped it all up with all this ribbon. That wasn't necessary. But she just wanted to make sure that I didn't get into that gift before the time was right. So I'd pick it up and shake it, and I just couldn't figure it out. I should have known, but it didn't dawn on me. You see, it was that time in my life when I had a dream. I was only 9 years old. And I collected pictures of famous people. And one of them was a famous ice skater, figure skater, Sonia Heine. That's from my era. Today it would be somebody different. However, I was going to be just like her. And I was going to sail over the ice with all this abandon and joy. Never mind that I had a bumpy pond to skate on in the middle of a pig pasture. That didn't seem to faze me at all. I just thought, all I need are those figure skates. So when I finally got through all that wrapping and tape and ribbon, imagine my intense delight when I took the cover off that box. And there were my white figure skates. And my family had been through such a rough time that we were told that there would only be one gift for each of us. And to think that they had sacrificed to give me that gift. I'm so grateful. And so now, we go back to what Wayne Muller said, that you are the gift. Put yourself in that gift, in that box, and say, I am this gift. How tightly wrapped am I? How tightly wrapped am I? Why don't I just, with abandon, give my gift to the world? I'll tell you why. Because I'm fearful. Now, it's not that we haven't given any gifts to the world. Everyone in this room has given a gift. I have. And we have unwrapped perhaps many packages. And maybe we've done it with trepidation. But we've done it. We have given things. But there's always more. There's something knocking at the door of my heart. Is it knocking at the door of yours? Sure it is. I know it is, because always there is something more. So why don't we give it? The fear in me, and I'm going to be really honest now, the fear in me says if I give this gift to the world, it's not going to be good enough. The world isn't going to welcome it. The world isn't going to receive it. Because I don't have the ability to give it in a good enough way. I have to get over that. I'm working on it. But here's the thing. This gift that you and I have to give to the world is part of our authentic self. Our authentic self. And this part is no less than the essence of God within you and me. It's spirit. Within you and me, knocking on the door of our heart saying, open up. Why don't you just give this? Why are you stopping this? Here's my invitation. And this is for me too. I am really speaking to me today. I have a gift to give. So do you. And spirit within me, this Holy Spirit within me is saying, be the vehicle, be the vessel for this gift, so that I can express through you, so that I can press out my radiance and my love out into the world. Your gift is acceptable. It is, because it's of me. I gave you the desire in the first place. Give your gift. Open yourself. Go within. That's where all the answers are. Ask for guidance. Ask for this ability to take all the wrappings off of this gift and just give it to the world. We can do it, you and me. We can. Namaste.